What's up, YouTube? Special shout out to the subscribers here and welcome to another weekly training vlog where I'm here to talk through all the training I'm doing to prepare for Ironman Texas coming up in April of 2026. Today's update is going to be pretty short. I'm going to talk briefly about how my TFL injury has been recovering over the past week. Going to take a look at the training that I was able to get done without the option of running, and then take a look at what I have planned for the next couple of weeks in terms of continued recovery for my injury and also what training I'm hoping to get into in the weeks coming up. So let's talk quick about how my injury healing has been going. I have not run in about 16 days. It's been more than 2 weeks without any running. One thing that my chiropractor mentioned last week that has really stuck with me is the idea that with this injury and the condition that it was when I came in, anytime that I was running, that part of my body, that part of my hip, that muscle structure in my TFL is supposed to absorb the impact that comes along with running. And since it was so tight and injured, it wasn't able to actually absorb that impact, and that left a lot of other parts of my body up and down that left chain to absorb the impact without the TFL doing its job. So keeping that in mind, that has helped me sort of ease into the idea of being productive without running and recognizing that if I were to go and try and run on it, the same exact thing would probably be happening, as in the other parts of my body would be absorbing the shock and not the intended part of my, the chain in that posterior hip leg that gets impacted when you're running over and over and over again. All that to be said, I am still injured. I still don't feel comfortable running. However, I do think that I am getting close. I'm going to go see the sports chiropractor again tomorrow for a third visit, and this week really might be my return to running. However, I was not able to return to running last week because I never met the criteria of having a pain-free 24-hour period where I was not experiencing any pain from the injury. So that is the situation, and I am going to give another update next week when I know more, and maybe at that point I will have gone for a run or two. We'll have to wait and see. Also, I apologize for my camera freezing. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on there. The audio part of this is really where the most of the content is. Obviously, it's fun to see me talk, but sometimes my camera just has to freeze like that. So let's take a look at what I was able to get done last week. Got a lot of swimming done. I'm very happy about that. Got a lot of riding done as well, and plenty of strength training. I finally hit that 8,000 yards total swimming for the week. I'm really excited about that because it's something that I've wanted to do for weeks now. I believe we can actually even see, yes, 8,375 yards last week compared to the previous week, 6,350. The week before that, 3,300. So 3,300 up to 6,350 up to 8,375. That is a really good ramp, and I've responded pretty well to it. Hoping to continue with that 8,000 or more yards swimming this week, but it's a little bit tricky because right off the bat on Monday, Labor Day, wasn't able to go to the pool this morning, but that's okay. We're going to make up for it tomorrow. So instead of focusing on, what I can't do, it's focusing what I can do. So swimming last week was fantastic. Got that swim done on Monday, went to yoga. On Tuesday, I had another 40-minute Zone 3 ride to do, and I really felt like I wanted to challenge myself. In previous 40-minute Zone 3 rides that I've done in the previous weeks, I haven't really spent much time in my Zone 3 heart rate. So even though I've been averaging in my Zone 3 power range, I'm not even close to spending the majority of that time in my Zone 3 heart rate. So last time I did that 40-minute set, I probably spent about 9 minutes in my Zone 3 heart rate. Fast forward to this 40-minute set that I did this previous week, and I was able to spend like 27 minutes in my Zone 3 heart rate. And the way I did it was to ride at a much higher power output. The average power output for that main set was 271, which is just 6 watts below where my power zones jump from Zone 3 to Zone 4. So this was about as high Zone 3 power average as you can get without really creeping into that Zone 4 territory. Heart rate really shot up, averaged 167 for 40 minutes, which is zone 3 for me, just barely zone 3 average. And I'm really happy I did that because, that's 25 more watts average compared to last time. A lot more time spent in that target heart rate as well. And I do think that I'm getting more out of these zone 3 rides if I can get my heart rate up as well as keep that power number in my zone 3. So good ride on Tuesday, got a lot out of that. On Wednesday, I did my own sort of program, sports strength training. I am still working on getting on another structured plan with the strength coach that I've worked with previously, but I don't have that set up quite yet. So Wednesday did a lot of push-ups, squats, core work, and really just tried to lean into that strength training. And I got a 3,000 yard swim done in the morning as well. So Wednesday was fantastic, 3,000 yard swim, really solid strength session. Again, trying to make the most out of the things that I can do. Thursday, went out on the road for a easy ride and ended up spending a lot of time in my zone 2 power output. I still averaged zone 1 heart rate for the time on the bike, but the power output was in my zone 2. So easy ride with zone 2 power average, zone 1 heart rate average, pretty decent average speed as well, and really enjoyed spending time as much as I could in the aero position on Thursday. And thus begins sort of a lot of riding that took place in the end of the week. So I had Thursday's ride. Friday, I went back to the pool, had the longest swim of the week at 32:50. Really, really, really happy with that swim. That was the swim I knew I was going to sort of take that weekly swim yardage and just completely obliterate last week, jumping up 2,000 yards. I made it happen on that Friday when I started the swim, was thinking, hey, by the time I'm done with this, I'm going to be at that 8,000 target, and that felt really good to get done. On Saturday, I usually have a run on Saturday. Instead, I went out and did a spirited zone 2 training ride. Really looking to spend as much time as I could in my zone 2 heart rate and power zone, which translated to an average speed of 21.2 miles an hour, 1,000 calories burned. Really enjoyable, about an hour and 10-minute ride. Did that on a road I haven't been on in quite some time, and really just tried to, again, lean into the things that I can do, including cycling. Feeling really strong on my bike on Saturday for that hour 10 minutes. And moving on to yesterday, which would have been my third sprint distance triathlon of the year. Because I'm trying to get over this injury, I obviously did not go and compete in that race. However, I went out and had a good time with the group that I ride with on Sundays, riding from the powerhouse. And I did two about 10-minute zone 4 intervals. The first one coming out to right about 319 watts average, zone 3 heart rate and zone 4 power, pretty good. And then the second one about 315 watts average, which is right around my threshold FTP of 317 with a slightly lower heart rate. So got out on the road, got zone 4 power output for those, but my heart rate stayed in zone 3. So moving on to next week, you'll notice it's blank. That's why I was saying this video is going to be short. I don't really have any structured training to go over right now. My coach has also been waiting patiently for me to give him some updates about the TFL injury. And since I'm not returned to running yet, we're going to have to look at the next few weeks together. Hopefully this week, go through that. And then by the next time I'm doing another video here, I will have that information about what the next week of training is going to look like. So got out on my bike this morning, however, to start the day, start the week off right. Another about an hour training ride that I did this morning. So that's a ride on Saturday, a ride on Sunday, and another ride today. Just under 3 hours, around 3 hours of riding on the saddle. And I'm really feeling pretty good about it. I've been feeling good on my bike and really enjoying the amount of riding on the road that I've been able to do this week as well. So that's everything for this week. I really appreciate you taking the time to check this out. As always, if you have anything to add, questions, comments, if you think I'm doing something the wrong way, if you think I'm doing something the right way, whatever it is, I'd love to hear about it. Please let me know in the comments. And either way, appreciate you being here. Have a good rest of your week, and I'll see you next Monday.